Hello, and welcome to another episode of Zero If I Could, where comedians discuss absurd reviews. My name is Raul Zambrano.
I'm Brittany Hersbrad.
I'm Jake Disharoon.
And with us today on this episode is our guest, David Zafra. Hello.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
So
Hi,
are we going to
David.
cut out that whole beginning part where we were talking about shit?
Yes.
God damn it.
Yes.
David. What did we say? All right.
Yes, we're gonna
that
cut
was
the part.
that was my only comment about shit. I just wanted to know.
One rule. We had one rule.
So for the listeners, just so you know, we've noticed, because we listened back to some episodes and we've noticed that there's some topics that come up way too much, and shit is one of them. Like we talk about
that's all we
poop
need to say about it. I was just
way
curious.
too much.
I don't think
And we
it's
specifically instructed David, like, listen, let's just not bring this up. Let's just play it cool.
I'm
nice
a rule
and
breaker. I
clean.
think everybody that knows me knows I'm a real edgy guy, and I just like to
Yeah,
push
that's
buttons
true. You're
and-
like an Anthony Jeselnik type.
exactly. Yeah,
the
definitely.
bad boy of
Bad boy
this
of-
stuff.
I just want to say that I don't think it's too much that we've talked about it, but to keep the peace amongst the podcast, I will go along with not speaking about it anymore.
Right. Well,
Okay.
as far as Brittany's concerned, we could do an entire podcast about shit, and that would be totally fine with her. But
Maybe that
for
can be
me-
your second podcast.
Yeah, I'm just going to start my own shit podcast, guys.
Yeah. Shit and giggles with Brittany Hersbrad. I don't know. What would it be?
That's not bad.
and then
Right, that's good enough.
we're kind of bordering on talking about.
I know. It's already too late, dude. It's already too late. I try to. Listen, I
All
try
right,
to have
no
that
more.
clean.
No more, that's it.
You know what would be nice? Because every time I upload an episode, it like asks me, is it explicit or is it clean? Can it be considered family friendly? And every time I'm like, nope, no.
Why
So
would
maybe
you
one
want
day,
it?
one day we'll hit it. We're like,
Why
we're like,
though?
I mean, we don't have to, but it
Just
just
to challenge ourselves.
yeah. Can we go a whole episode without talking about shit?
Yeah.
Or just
'Cause
cussing?
everybody
That would,
knows that
Ooh.
being explicit is like a crutch. So you guys talking about shit all the time, it's just
yeah.
That is true. Yeah. It's cheap to use dirty words. Only hacks and unoriginal losers do it.
Yep.
Take that, George Carlin. You hear me? Hear me, Richard Pryor?
I just had a really awkward situation. So after I was done working, I went to the shopping center by my parents' house and got some food and sat outside to eat because they have like really spaced out tables. And there were these two teenage girls who they were just walking around looking at a phone, looking really concerned for a while. And then they went up to the table next to me and I guess they were using like Track My iPhone or something like that. And somebody had stolen their phone and it was saying their phone was in that location. So they were like, hey, have you seen a phone? Blah, blah, blah. And then she started saying like, I know one of these people has my phone. Like my phone is right here. Like one of you guys has it. And was like, and I was just like, so I know I don't have her phone. Right. But I'm like, what face does someone make who like doesn't have the phone? Like how does a person who doesn't have the phone act?
Gotta-
I don't know what to do.
You have to put on a big show of being innocent of something that you actually didn't do.
I
just
just
where all
felt-
those acting classes can finally pay off.
well,
Just
I
sort of
just-
whisper
I know.
my food, like I do every day without only one phone here. Don't look at me.
I started to feel conspicuous because I was reading and I was like, with somebody who like I would, if maybe somebody who took the phone would just intently be reading a book, like, no, nothing to see here. So I would like kind of look at them sometimes to like commiserate and be like, oh, that sucks. And then sometimes go back to the book. But I was like, oh no, like I really don't know. what to
The only worst thing in that would be like if you just brought out like a big ass newspaper, and just like not me.
yeah.
But what did you decide to do? Yeah, you just just continued reading.
Yeah, I would kind of look at them sometimes and just like kind of like, as if I was into their story.
Would it be
Supporting
worse
their
to like
search.
help them find it? Do you think that would be the worst move?
I mean, they could see, they said it was like pinpoint right there. And so I don't know. I was going to say, because there was a trash can right there, I was going to be like, maybe they threw it in the trash can. But then I just decided not to insert myself at all.
You probably should have just sprinted away from them as soon as they said it.
Well, that was another thing because I had to come do this podcast and I was like, shit, I need to leave here in 5 minutes. So I was like, if I get up to leave right now, that's also going to look really weird. So I just felt super uncomfortable.
But you didn't stick
Yeah.
around to like find out if she got it or not?
They left before me. So I think they kind of got tired of standing around hoping that whoever stole their phone would come. It should have been like a classroom thing. Like, we'll close our eyes and then whoever took my phone, just put it in front of me and nobody gets in trouble.
With the Find My iPhone, there's actually an option to like play a sound or like music from your phone.
Well,
It's,
this one girl was helping them and she was like, oh, my phone has an alarm that you can I don't know what happened, but I hope she got her phone back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is really the time to start giving those girls tips on how to find their phone in the future. In case they listen to this podcast, use the alarm function. What are you doing? Don't just stand there. Just
And
accuse random ladies.
I will say they were wearing masks and they were very respectful and they stayed far away from everybody. And it made me feel very proud of teenagers today. So that was nice.
Oh, so they deserve to find their phone.
Yeah. I just, like nothing they did was like, they weren't like asshole teenagers. I just felt nervous that they were going to then directly ask me if I took their phone. And I was going to be like, no, do you want to like search through all of my pockets and my stuff? You're welcome to. I don't know.
It's a little overkill.
Yeah.
I just need them to believe me, David. I need them to.
All right. Well, I have reviews if we'd like to get into that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
This first review is for professional wrestler The Undertaker's Funko Pop. WWE Undertaker Funko Pop.
That is so
I like
specific.
this.
Wait, individual Funko Pops get their own reviews?
How?
Oh, are you kidding me? Absolutely. This is a 5-star review, and the title of it is "You Done It Now, You Gone and Made the Right Mistake."
Okay.
I like it so far.
Yeah, so far, very good.
It's a good start. Attention getter, A+.
Yeah, I'm paying attention. All right, I've been an Undertaker fan since his debut. I followed all of his personas and gimmicks over the years. He's always been a really entertaining and talented performer. Even in matches that's not his cup of tea, like that ladder match he had against Jeff Hardy that one time, he managed to put on a good show. We all know the match. So to say I was excited at the opportunity to add what could be one of The Undertaker's last matches cemented in my pop figurine collection, this was a no-brainer purchase. What I like even more was that this was the American badass persona, and the detail on the figure is accurate to it. One of my favorite figures in my collection already. Would 10 out of 10 recommend? So I saw a lot of reviews for a lot of different Funko Pops, and one phrase that kept coming up over and over was no-brainer. People were like, it's obvious. If you're a fan of Hamilton, clearly you need the Alexander Hamilton Funko Pop. It's a no-brainer.
Raul, which of your Funko Pops was the biggest no-brainer?
Yes, I gotta know.
For me, the Jason Voorhees. I'm just like I was always a huge
that's-
Friday the 13th fan, and
So it's a no-brainer.
Actually, you know what? That was my first Funko Pop, and it was a no-brainer. I saw
Oh,
it.
in the Freddy versus Jason fight, you were Team Jason?
I was Team Jason for sure.
Oh, I was Freddy, 100%.
Yeah.
He's so much cooler.
He's way cooler.
Cool. He's like a little pussy boy compared to Jason. Jason's fucking
Jason's
alpha.
movies are trash.
Yeah.
I will admit the movies of Friday the 13th are a little
That's
bit
what I
better.
never
But
understood. Why they made so many? They were all terrible.
And
did you see the one with the girl that's like psychic and stuff?
Okay,
And
that one's pretty good.
That one's
I
pretty
like that
goddamn good. All right.
okay, but Freddy can kill you in your dreams.
Yeah,
That's
and-
so crazy. Like Jason can only kill you in real life. What a loser.
Real life is, you know what's not scary? Dreams.
It's
Dreams are
scary.
good.
What
You
if
can usually control.
You know what's not?
Raul,
Have you ever heard of
you know,
nightmares?
They have a word for bad dreams. So
This news to you?
I never have them. so-
Because
You've never
you-
had a nightmare in your life?
It's because he has sleep apnea. He never gets to. He never gets into a sleep state where he's capable of
I
dreaming.
see.
So
sounds
he
like a
has.
nightmare.
Yes, he has no idea what we're even talking about. Sorry, this is a sore subject for Raul. He's very upset.
I just mean,
You're just a hater. You wish you could be Freddy so you could experience dreams.
no, I wish I could be
Oh
Jason.
my
You're
god.
your own insecurities because you're like, oh, this guy is cooler because he doesn't have to worry about dreams, whatever that is.
So there's a line in Freddy versus Jason, or Jason, is it Jason versus Freddy? Anyway,
Freddy versus
there's a
Jason.
line in that movie where somebody says, "Oh my God, Freddy can get us in our dreams. We're not safe awake or asleep."
Mhm.
Like, you know, Jason can still kill you while you're asleep. You're not. It's not like you're safe when
I
you're
was like,
sleeping.
see, that girl is right.
Like he's about to get, and you're like, oh, but you grab the covers and you're like, oh no, I'm asleep. You can't do anything. He's like, well, guy's got to have a code, so got to let this one go. She's asleep. My domain is the awake. That's where I do my business.
And that's
This is Freddy's
interesting that
job
you
now.
bring that up because there was a girl that was asleep that Jason killed. So
Oh, that's fucked up. That's Freddy's turf.
I know, and that's why he got mad. That was the whole point of the fight is he started killing people he wasn't supposed
That's
to.
right.
I see.
I'm a big Jason versus Freddy fan.
Just that movie
that
though,
movie.
not like not the Friday the 13th movie. It's just the Freddy versus Jason. That's it.
I would say like I'm very lukewarm on Jason. I love
Sure.
Freddy, and then Freddy versus Jason, it goes into that realm where I kind of love it and hate it at the same time. And I love it because it's so stupid.
Which was the one that was in space?
Jason.
Jason
X.
Oh,
X.
Jason X.
Okay. Yeah, that was really bad. That was so bad.
That one.
I guess it's cooler. Maybe he's cooler because Jason can get you in space. And I don't think I've ever seen Freddy go into that frontier.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but why-
If someone went to space, he could go into their dreams.
But yeah, he
he's
doesn't
not.
seem to be limited by geography, right?
As far as I've seen, he has been. So I don't know.
Yeah, hang on a second. Freddy only kills people in like this one town. What is that about? People are dreaming all over the place.
It's
So
also-
the demons that turned him into Freddy Krueger did it so that he could get revenge on the children of Elm Street specifically. So that's why.
Do you not accept the lore from the more recent movies where it was parents who
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
That's
Wait,
not my
what's-
Freddy.
The lore
What's
from
the retcon?
it's
They did
that
a remake, which doesn't count.
okay, and it was that Freddie was a janitor at the school and he was accused of molesting children. So the parents got together and I guess maybe lit his house on fire or something. I don't know, and that's how he ended up dying. So I guess it paints him as too much of an actual villain, and David doesn't like that.
Well, I thought that was the whole thing. Is like he was.
A child molester?
No, he just killed them. Yeah.
Oh well,
He
yeah.
wasn't getting off on it. He was just murdering children.
Well, we've all been there. I mean, I get that. So in Jason X,
Yeah.
there's a scene. So like, there's this big plot device about they have this machine that like heals people instantly. Basically, it's like nanobots or whatever. If you get really hurt, you lay in this machine. It looks like an MRI, and you lay there for like 5 minutes, and the nanobots swarm all over you, and they heal you.
Yes.
Towards the end of the movie, they're like fighting Jason with some android or whatever, and they finally beat him and they knock him out, and they're like, oh, he's finally dead. Let's leave him on this machine that heals people back to full health, and in fact increases their strength. Let's leave him here, and then let's all hit the showers, guys. We did it. Let's take the rest of the night off. Cocktails are on me.
I mean, I'm sure they were very sweaty. So the showering part, I get. You know, after
I
finding
got no
a
problem with the
fucking
showers.
immortal
The problem,
murderous villain, yeah.
yeah, the problem was just shoot him into space, shoot him into the sun. What are you doing? Leaving him on the. I mean, I know people make stupid choices in horror movies. That's like a trope of the genre, but that one just seemed that's too far for me.
This is what I wanted my entire life, and I didn't realize it, is a group of people that I can dive into Freddy versus Jason and other types of topics like this. You're just talking, Jake, and I'm just like, go in. I'm so ready for it.
Yes, King, go off.
Is Freddy your favorite of all of the original sort of slasher movies of all time? Because mine is Michael Myers.
For people, yeah, I say he's probably up there. Yeah.
I love Halloween. Like I get so stoked that whenever they come out with a new one and that they're making a new one and Jamie Lee Curtis is going to be in it, like I love it.
Yeah, I like Michael a lot. I would say he's probably like up there, but I just like Freddy better. Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one when I saw it when I was a little kid, freaked me the fuck out. So I kind of stuck around. And the Michael movies, I love them, but they're not as scary. I mean,
he has no personality, so it's they like drastically change the storyline like every 2 movies. I feel like it's just like completely different. So
it is interesting the timeline on the Halloween movies, how they redid it so many times, where it's like H2O erases like all of them except for the first 2, and then the new one erases all of them except first one.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Like I because I'll watch them years apart, and then I was like, wait, I thought he was supposed to be her brother, and then now he's not her brother. Like, and then I just realized that there's no point in trying because it really doesn't. They're just gonna change it again. Doesn't matter. There's
because otherwise, what would happen if you did like a continuation? Then that's how you end up in space. You know, because. There's just so much like, okay, number 9. It's like eventually it's like, where do we go? Oh, let's head to the stars.
He went to hell in like the 4th one or something.
Yeah, and then on the 5th one, I think he went to New York, which I think is a step.
Fun.
Well,
I could go to New York. That's not really.
That's not that impressive.
I don't know. Michael takes Manhattan. It's very fun.
I like that.
Yeah, what was with this weird like trope of like this, monster villain thing goes to this city?
It seemed like it was usually New York too.
It was usually New York.
It was just a bunch of people in Hollywood in like the 80s and 90s being like, where else can we film other than Los Angeles? I guess New York City.
I'm
not flying to Africa or anything. We're going to New York, where I already have another house.
That reminds me of watching Paranormal Activity for the first time, because I was in a crowded theater, and then the opening scene, I think it's like Carlsbad, California, and everyone in the theater was like, right up the street from me. My God. But yeah, it took place in San Diego, and everyone freaked out. It was so funny.
That is such a funny mentality.
Was that the reaction? Was the reaction like shock from like, oh, it's so close to me? Or was it just like, oh, like the familiarity, like when you watch Bring It On and you realize it was filmed in Oceanside?
It sounded scared to me, not like, oh, cool, fun.
There was definitely an audible gasp when I watched it at midnight, and part of me thought, I'm like, oh, do they just like
do that for everything?
Like because I almost wanted to go watch it in Minnesota, and then they'd be like, whatever, Minnesota, but someone close by. I was wondering if that was because the whole idea was that it was like a true story or whatever, And I think that's what really kind of, got us.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of it being like, oh no, this ghost is only a 45-minute drive from me at max. This could really happen. Like, it's like a ghost or a demon in paranormal. It doesn't seem to be stuck to the house, right? It's like haunting that lady. Okay,
I don't remember this part. See, now you're out of. I'm out of my element with the Paranormal Activity movies.
They're good.
It's been a long time.
Like them.
I just don't know as much about them. Like I really nerd out on like the 80s and 90s slashers, but I didn't really get into. I don't think ghosts are scary, or interesting.
Oh, not even interesting. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, what's so interesting about
Poltergeist?
Them? Maybe Poltergeist.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's just kind of like a nothing thing. They kind of just like prank people all the time. Like I don't know why it's so scary that some invisible thing would move your cup from one side of the room to the other.
They're definitely fun in a different way. Like I think, they're completely different types of scary movies, but I like them both for sure.
I used to have a joke in my stand-up about ghosts, about how like if you live in a haunted house and the ghost of the haunted house kills you, the only qualification for being a ghost is being dead. So the ghost kills you, now you're dead. Now you're also a ghost, and you're like haunting the same house with the ghost that just killed you. Wouldn't that? I think that would be uncomfortable. If like the guy like, hey, we're stuck in this house for eternity now. So what was up with you killing me yesterday? Why the fuck did you do that? It's like, I don't know. It's my job.
If you died and became a ghost and got to confront your killer, do you think you guys would become friends afterwards?
Yes, because what else are you gonna do? I mean, honestly,
Brittany's so annoyed by that question. Like, well, obviously.
Well, what else?
Well, of course you're gonna work together. You need friends.
I would be pissed for a while, but I mean, it was like when I got punched in the face in middle school, we both had to do in-school detention together for a week.
Yeah.
And then so we became friends because there was literally nobody else to talk to. And she just punched me in the face. I'm very forgiving that way.
Yeah,
But you
Yeah, I
also, if it's
realize
the same story that I'm thinking of, you also deserved it. So I'm sure it was partly your
Yes.
guilt coming into play a little bit as well.
Does
I get-
anybody ever deserve physical violence upon
Yep.
them?
yes.
Yeah, a couple
Yep,
people.
absolutely.
Yeah. I can think of a few.
I
Yeah.
for sure deserved it, but I don't know if I was mature or thoughtful enough to realize that at the time. In
Yeah, but it's not
retrospect,
like you got punched by an adult. It was like a peer. So I think it's fair.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess so. I was gonna say, yeah, no middle schooler deserves to get punched in the face. There are plenty of adults who do, but that's also a good point, David. If it's another middle schooler, sure, go nuts. Why not?
Well, if one middle schooler's talking shit about another middle schooler and then that middle schooler punches that person in the face, then I feel
Okay.
like
it
kinda-
wasn't like I just want to say we don't have to get too into it. I did not bully her. There was a lot of mutual shit talking going on, but I did deserve it because I talked a lot of shit. But it wasn't like she was like this meek girl who I was like picking on all the time.
Yeah, obviously not. She punched you.
Yeah, exactly. But there was shit talking coming at me as well. It's just, it was a weird situation in which I was mostly in the wrong.
All right,
Okay.
we've been talking about horror movies for way too long.
Well,
right,
this is
perfect
gonna
amount.
take a
That was
drastic-
not on the list. Make sure you mention that next time if you don't
That's
want me to
true.
talk about it.
This will definitely change the subject. So this is a review for Bath and Body Works. It's a 3-star review. It says, pumpkin scents are here for the fall. Once again, boyfriend's protests because he, like normal humans, doesn't really care for the scent or flavor of pumpkin, but he relented and said I could have my beloved candles and soap during the fall holidays. He's really the best. So we go in seeing a buy 3, get 2 sale. Turns out it is nothing we need but antibacterial hand soaps. My fave are on sale 3 for $10. So as we are picking our soaps out, a friendly sales girl asks if we need help. Not really, we are just testing scents, and we move on. We continue to browse around trying to decide what we need, and a different girl comes up and asks if we need help. Nope, we're still all right. As we are discussing out loud, obviously, the things we may or may not need, sales girl number 1 comes back over and asks how we are doing. Oh my God. We are so effing confused about what scents we like because we haven't been buying this soap for our house for 100,000 years. And since what smell we want to take home is such a hard freaking decision, could you please assist us with nothing. Seriously, this makes me want to freak out and choke people. Get away from me right now. There are 100 little sales girls in a store the size of my bedroom, and I presume if I do happen to need assistance, which is highly unlikely, I would have little difficulty seeking you out. On that note, we quickly paid for our items and left, sans the candles I actually went in for. Next time I go back, I'm going to wear rubber gloves on my hand and a surgeon's mask with a hazard symbol in hopes they will just leave me the hell alone.
Whoa.
And this was way pre-COVID, so little did she know that would.
It's funny to be like, yeah, in COVID, they're going to threaten to come back wearing a mask. Like, I wasn't wearing a mask this time, but if you don't quit messing around and asking me if I need help, I'm coming back and I'm wearing a mask and gloves. Take that.
It's funny because I don't agree with her, but I get uncomfortable in stores when people keep asking me if I need help. But my reaction isn't to get angry. I just feel really awkward and I never want to go there again. But she's so mad about it. It's like they have to ask you that.
Yeah, I worked in retail for a long time, and that was one of the number one things is people like it when you ask them if they need help. And I always remember thinking I don't like that. If I go to a store, the last thing I want is someone to talk to me out of the blue and be like, hey, you need help finding jeans? No, fuck you.
Some people do like that. Some people get upset if nobody comes up to them and asks them if they need help.
Right. That's the other side of this is if nobody did it, there'd be another person writing a review I was in the candle store for 25 minutes and nobody asked me if I needed help. Obviously, I'm lost here. I'm not going to go up to an associate and ask them for help. I need someone to come to me.
That's the
I
issue
also
because like I'm sure it's a 50-50 split where like 50% don't like it at all, and then the other 50 do. But then those are the people that will write about it or review because I like it's something like, well, in this case she did was upset that someone like went to go help her, but most people would be like, it's not a big deal, whatever, it's fine. But the other
Yeah, I
people
can say no 2 times. That's fine.
yeah, that's fine.
You do that.
Yeah. But the other people are like, what? Nobody said a word to me. Well, fucking, they'll write to corporate and shit. And it's like, and that's why they think that like, oh, it must be everybody.
I also like the promotions that she was talking about. Like Bath and Body Works has crazy ass like buy 7 get 3 free. So weird.
Yeah, I was trying to follow the numbers you were saying, but I just felt 3 candles for $2, something like that, because that's very cheap.
You buy 3 get 2 free. So
I
I guess
What? That's such a weird number. Why?
Yeah.
Why is it like uneven numbers?
It's almost a buy 1 get 1 free, I guess, but not quite. I don't know.
But you need to buy that extra one to get. Yeah, I don't know. It just
The
doesn't
trick
make any
is to
sense.
confuse you into just doing it, and
It reminds me of like when we used to do the advice questions and people would fill in information that doesn't have anything to do.
Yeah.
Like, why is she telling us about these fucking deals when the criticism is like people kept coming up to me when I didn't want them to talk to me? But
Yeah.
Give us the backstory. I was there. And by the way, the backstory of her boyfriend, like, this is my relationship status. My boyfriend's awesome. He allows me to buy things even though he doesn't like it. Like, why are you telling us this?
And I'm a pillar of my community.
Yeah, what does she do for a living?
Yeah, that would be all
I'm
of
a
the
banker,
advice.
and I come here for.
It felt like boyfriend bragging preamble about like
not great boyfriend bragging either.
No, just
being a
like
person
allowing the person you live with to buy a candle that you're not crazy about. Like that's very easy. That is low hanging fruit as far as boyfriend points go. But yeah, just don't.
Yeah, who have dated where this is a plus? We're like, my new boyfriend allows me to buy candles. Like, what were your other boyfriends doing?
We don't know. Maybe
for the
it was
review?
3 stars.
Okay.
I like how she didn't even leave getting any candles.
Well, because she was probably just so frustrated and upset that a third person had, asked her if she needed help. But she became so flustered and stormed off without any candles.
But yeah, well, she's got to punish the store somehow. Let them know that they've done something wrong. They've gravely insulted her by implying that she can't pick out her own hand soap or something. I don't know.
And they're definitely asking because this makes a lot of sense to me now, thinking back on me going to Bath and Body Works in high school with like Caitlin and Lauren and Clarissa and stuff, because we used to just go there and like put a bunch of lotion on and like wash our hands with shit in the sink and like buy nothing. So they're probably like, we're really going to ask everybody a lot if they need help because everybody just uses our stuff and then sprays themselves with body spray and leaves.
That's a good tactic to prevent people from just being shitty teenagers.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to smell like sweet pea, Jake.
I mean, you could have bought the product and then you would smell like it.
So expensive, or
it's
at least
3 for 10. It's a buy 4 get 6 free.
Yeah, that is true.
They get more for free than you purchase.
When I was 12 years old, my mom was not giving me $40 to buy some fucking lotion. So.
All right, got a review here. This review is for a flower shop in Midland, Texas. It's actually, there's a couple of reviews that I want to read on this. Okay. First one says, I went in for flowers, but came out with a nasty case of COVID-19 and the inane ramblings of a treasonous moron stuck in my head. Stay away from this place and the owner, Jenny, unless you want a nasty case of the Rona. And the second review says, ordered flowers from them last year for a friend in Midland. Had no idea I was dealing with someone who would commit an act of treason and commit multiple felony offenses. Also, she is not following COVID-19 mask mandates. And so I looked into it, and I guess apparently this person, the owner,
at the Capitol riots.
The owner had live streamed them going into the Capitol. And so there's video evidence of this, and enough people got like wind of it and were just started reviewing, and apparently one person caught COVID there. So.
Wow.
I mean, how can you be sure that place? But okay,
Jake is defending them.
No, I mean it's
He's
just
gotta
bullshit.
save
We're
their-
shutting down the entire economy.
Yeah.
Just it's,
Go
I mean, the
ahead
death
and-
rate
yeah.
is like less than 1%. It's basically the flu. But anyway,
Jake, did you storm Capitol Hill?
storm is such a nasty word. I was
Simply
doing my
protesting.
patriotic duty in Washington D.C. earlier last month, but that's neither here nor there.
Was that only a month ago?
Yeah, it was January 6th.
Holy shit. Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like a month and a half. something like
That
that.
it still seems much longer ago than that.
It's been a long year, but businesses that really flaunt the mask and stuff like that sucks. I would definitely write a 1-star review, but I did get a smog check at a place that I pulled up, and there's 2 people in the place and neither of them wearing masks. And I was kind of like, okay, you're not gonna, and they're like, nah. I'm like, well, I still got the smog check. And while I was waiting, I looked and there's like a big repeal Newsom or recall Newsom petition on their wall. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna get COVID-19 from this place for a smog check. And I didn't get it. So I guess that guy actually deserves 5 stars. So, yeah.
I mean, you can not like Governor Newsom and still wear a mask. You can just want people to know those things.
Right. Yeah. It's totally possible to not like the governor or coronavirus. That's kind of where I am right now. I think they're both bad.
Situations like that are so awkward. Like when Raul and I moved into our place with Stephanie, the movers that we had at first, they weren't wearing a mask. So I asked them to, and they looked so annoyed about it. And then the one guy was like, well, I can't wear it over my nose because we're going to be taking all of this furniture in and out. And it was really hot out too. And he was like, I can't do it. And I was like, okay. But like, I'm like, I'm not going to be like, well then no, you can't do, but I definitely was like, oh, this is.
Yeah.
Like the move took 7 hours.
Oh,
And
God.
so
Yes, it was the longest move.
the longest fucking move ever.
But I mean, yeah, when we first met our landlord for this place, she had a mask on, but she was wearing it under her chin, basically. It's like
That is a very common
just
move
take it
that I
off.
see.
just take it
What is
off
it
at that
doing,
point. I
really?
respect that more. But we did ask her to put it on, and she did. She was very nice. But yeah, it does suck being in that position where like you hired someone to do physical labor for you, and then you have to tell them like, hey, you still have to wear a mask. I know you're hot. I get it. I wouldn't want to wear a mask right now either if I were you, but I also don't want COVID-19, the novel coronavirus.
It's something where they're going in and out of people's houses every day. So it's like really.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing that bothers me, like I get, okay, if you don't want to wear a mask, you don't believe it, like don't wear a mask and do your own thing, whatever. But I really don't like if like a restaurant is open and you think like, okay, there's outside seating, like I can go to this place and it's going to be safe. And then you get there and then they are not following the protocols. And it's like, well, that fucking sucks because.
Well, were there waiters just not wearing masks? What was going on?
Yeah. So I went to this comedy show one time that was outside and it was supposed to be safe and distanced. And then like one of the waitresses just wasn't wearing a mask, was coming up to all the tables like, hey guys, like super like, oh, we don't care about that here. Like, blah, blah. Right. And I was like, yeah, but I thought you did. And I do. So now like, fuck, I'm stuck here. And like that stuff sucks to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a place that I didn't realize until I got there, but I was like, it was like a bar place, and there was a sign that was like, "We're peacefully protesting," so then nobody had masks. That was rough.
I guess at least they let you know. I made an appointment to get wax, and like this is a situation like she doesn't believe in it at all and had a lot of stuff to say about it. But I'm like, you are having people come to you and providing a service to them. And like, I don't understand why you wouldn't just do that to make other people feel comfortable, especially when you're in an industry where that depends on you having returning clients to you. Mm-hmm. Like that is really weird to me. Like, even if I didn't believe it, I would be like, these other people do. So I would like to make them feel comfortable.
Because you ended up like learning to wax yourself, right? Was that the reason why? You're like,
Yeah.
I want to avoid this place as much as often as possible.
Yeah. Well, then I was nervous to do anything after that because I was like, because it took me a really long time. I waited like a year to do anything like that. And then I was like, I'm going to go. Like, salons are open. It's going to be safe. Like, they're following measures. And then no. And then I was like, well, fuck me. So yeah, I learned to do it myself,
Learn
but
a new
it's
skill
still,
set.
I still would rather pay to do it. It's so
you just got to find that person that's gonna be like safe and respectful, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, most places are. This was enough.
Are you supposed to tip waxers? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if she doesn't believe in COVID, maybe you don't believe in tipping. Like
that seems
like
I can even trade. Yeah.
It was such a weird situation because it's a girl that I've gone to for like 3 years. So
Yeah.
like so I was like, oh
yeah.
Yeah.
I just put on a show and we all had masks, and there was one person that ended up not performing on the show because he didn't want to wear a mask for whatever period of time he was going to be in the area. It's fucking crazy. Like, literally just like left.
He just said he would not do the show.
I ended up not even talking to him because he showed up when we were setting up. I had left quickly to go grab some stuff. And then when I came back, they were like, oh yeah, the guy doesn't want to wear a mask. So he was just kind of like wandering far away from the show area. And then he ended up just getting pissed off and not even performing at all.
Okay, well, that's pathetic. Whoever that is, if you're listening, you are a loser.
Yes. I was actually really stoked that he ended up choosing not to perform because I really didn't want him on the show in the first place. So it kind of worked out.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, now I hope he does listen.
I did enjoy David Zafra's show because there was also like a fire dancer, which I thought was cool. But she a couple times she missed her
almost
her
lit someone on fire.
Oh no!
And like it was like
was
pretty cool. It almost hit a couple of people like very close. It was like right there.
That makes it more exciting, I think.
Yeah,
it was definitely exciting as fuck.
It's not as exciting when the person feels like it's like, oh, there's no danger here. This person's obviously not going to drop their baton and light someone on fire. And then you see her drop her baton and almost light someone on fire. You're like, oh shit.
And also could not extinguish their flame on command. I was like a couple of times was like, all right, I'm done with this portion.
Yeah.
And just could not do it. Just was not happening.
Like open mic fire eater level, like that level.
To be fair, like
she's really good.
She was great. She's really good. But
she doesn't sound that good based on everything I've heard so far.
Well,
I'm saying all positives.
I think she had like technical difficulties in a way, and maybe she messed up once or twice.
Yeah,
but like her act was very good.
You can't control fire, Jake. You know, it's its own element.
You sent me a video of her and she was going really fast. So for her to like not catch one of those that's very scary.
Yeah.
There was definitely like a big gasp when it happened. Like, everyone just kind of like, oh no.
My friend was like front row when she was the one that almost got hit by one of those, and she was stoked about it. So
it's like the splash zone.
It's kind of like that, yeah.
The burn zone.
Opposite of the splash zone, a little bit.
I would say
this one is lame, but I specifically wanted to do it with David and Jake together on the podcast.
I don't like this.
No, it's fine. So it's for Obi Noodle House, which I want to and it's a 1-star review, but I want to preface this by saying I fucking love Obi Noodle House. It's one of my favorite places in San Diego. All of their food is bomb. They have bomb drinks and it's fun. So this person is a loser. But anyway, so it says, I ordered the number 48, I do believe, and had maybe 4 pieces of chicken in there. Was pretty pathetic. So then ordered their wings, which were good, but wish I would have known they were cheap on the first portion. Also, my friend and I got the same fortune cookie. Sad.
Wait, what? What about that? It was just like
okay. I knew that Jake would find that so fucking stupid, and then David and I used to talk about zodiacs a lot, so it kind of like falls in line with that. But just for someone to be so bummed that them and their friend got the same fortune and then rate somewhere 1 star, like that be a contributing factor.
The same fortune. God, it's almost like these fortune cookies don't have the mystical powers that they've always claimed. I mean, it is very weird. I've never seen a duplicate fortune from a fortune cookie before in my life.
That's happened
I have not
plenty of times. Yeah,
but it's like, it's just like some company that prints these things. that go in the cookies. It's not. There is literally nothing to it beyond that.
I wonder how many people have used like the numbers in the back as actual like lottery numbers, because they provide you numbers, and the idea is that like these are the winning numbers, But I wonder how many people actually take that seriously.
A lot of people, I'm sure.
Specifically, Brittany.
No. I was gonna say, like, I definitely play the lottery sometimes, but I think the type of people who play the lottery a lot would also be inclined to think that there might be lucky numbers that will help them win the lottery.
Do you believe in lucky numbers?
No, I do. Weirdly, I don't know why. I don't know why, because I don't actually believe in it.
Yeah.
What, Raul? What?
You're just very like,
dude. Okay, so this came up because I was listening to some old episodes of you guys like recently, and you're always saying like, "Oh, I don't believe in this thing at all," but I'm still super cautious.
Yeah,
I don't believe in fortune tellers, but I don't want to go to one because I'm afraid what they might say. If you really didn't believe in them, you just wouldn't give a fuck what their opinion was about anything.
Yeah, you wouldn't pay money for that.
Yeah, you're really up and down with your superstition. That's what I find funny. Is that like some things you're like, fuck it, absolutely I believe this, and then other times you're like, no, but whatever. But then this other thing that is very similar, by the way.
Let me tell you, I don't believe in something, but my belief in something has no bearing on whether or not it's real. So just because I don't believe in it doesn't mean that it couldn't possibly be real. And that is the part of myself that's like, I don't think it's true, but what I think doesn't matter.
Like you believe in it.
Yeah, you're really leaving the door 3/4 of the way open there.
I definitely don't believe in this thing. I'm just going to take all these precautions just in case.
Well, I was just going to say that I collect all of my fortunes in a Ziploc. I never throw them away.
Wow.
What would happen if you threw them away, do you think?
I don't know. I don't even think
die. Our fortune would not. She'd have no future, so she would die if she threw them away.
Really, I'm just going to say this is 100% true. It has nothing to do with superstition. It has everything to do with OCD. I have very obsessive compulsive thoughts, and like I truly believe that like it's like if you don't turn a handle enough times, like if I don't do these certain things, something bad will happen. Like that's definitely what it is. And it's not that I think the fortunes hold any sort of power. It's like every time I drive under a bridge, I have to make a wish, and if I don't, I legitimately think I'm going to get into a car accident, and it's like I can't turn it off. There's a bridge by our house. Yeah. Every time I pass under it, like I dread it. I start to dread it. I'm like, oh fuck, the bridge is gonna come, and I have to make
a
fucking wish, and I can't stop doing it, or else I literally feel anxious and awful and dreadful. So it's
that's not the same thing as superstition. That's totally fine. But I will say, I have known
so many
a lot.
examples of like things that you do that are like that, though.
I'm sorry.
It's like
it starts to add up to be like, do you really not believe in this? Because it sounds like you believe in it.
Basically, everyone in LA believes in astrology, but almost everyone I've ever talked to about it, because I could not believe in astrology any less. And pretty much every time someone talks about astrology, they say, yeah, I mean, I don't really think it's real. I just think it's fun. It's like, no, you believe in it. You don't. You invest a lot of time and energy in like getting these apps and finding out what time of the day you were born. Yeah. And every time something happens to you, you're like, oh, well, I'm an Aquarius rising. So what are you going to do? It's like, yeah. Is
it just like fun to pretend?
Yeah.
Is this like part of it's like role playing, like astrology?
If there was that spin on it, then I would totally respect it.
I could respect it in that way a little bit, like the way that people play Quidditch. Like they know that they're not actually flying on brooms. It's just fun. If astrology was like that, I could respect it more. But more often than not, like you said, Jake, it's like these people that are like, I don't think it's actually real, but then they invest a lot into it.
Yeah, I respect like LARPing the Silmarillion a lot more than I respect someone who talks about astrology and thinks about it all the time. But then as soon as I try not to be directly an asshole to people about it. But if they ask me about it, I will say I don't believe in it. And they'll say, yeah, I don't really
Didn't you say though that like if a girl even knew what her star sign was, you would never fuck them? Like you were like very. It was.
Who are you thinking of?
No,
no. I know
it was something like that. Though.
I know what you're talking about, but I did not say that.
What
I said if someone believes in astrology, I am much less attracted to them.
No, you said you would never fuck them, or you would like never. I
would never date them.
You wouldn't want
nothing
to do with them. Yeah.
Although I have heard you say that if someone else was a different socialist than you, then you would probably not fuck them. That's
also true. Yeah, I mean, at this point in my life, it's like, if you supported a different person in the Democratic primaries, I'm out. I can't. We just don't see the world in the same way. I'm sorry.
David and I used to send each other a bunch of BuzzFeed quizzes back and forth that were like, pick different foods and we'll guess which astrology sign.
Yeah,
like all the time.
I really was and most of the time they were wrong. They almost never guessed it correctly.
They got mine right a lot, and that's why I said, David, you just don't know yourself well enough. That's why I'm not getting.
Or you just weren't. You just didn't believe hard enough. And Brittany,
that's the one way that they get you.
I actually don't believe in astrology. And there's nothing scary about not believing in it, so I feel very comfortable saying that.
Yeah, I will say astrology to me is like the least likely thing I've ever heard to be true.
Do you think that's true though? Because
yes.
Okay.
To me, like when I think about like the religions or superstitions or like ways that people view the world, astrology is literally the farthest thing from what I think is plausible that I've ever heard.
I think it's more plausible than religion.
I would say it's
or religious beliefs.
They're like, to me, astrology is not that different from like Christianity. They both seem equally implausible and fake.
But astrology is bound by time and space and planets and things that actually
they're so easily provable that it's almost like this fake science that they're based off of is like not like this shape that the shape that you see in the sky. If you just go to a different part in space, it doesn't look like that anymore. And it's as easy as that to be like, okay, well, this scorpion doesn't actually look like a scorpion if you literally move to a different part of space. It's just
there's
to be like, this makes no fucking sense.
There's no like objective measure of, oh, this looks like a bull or this is a centaur. Like, well, to me, they don't actually look like that to begin with. It's just a bunch of dots. That's all I see for all constellations. But also any other place in the universe that they're not in the same order. They're not in the same place. Like stars exist in three-dimensional space. If you go somewhere else, it doesn't look like a scorpion. It looks like a giant squid or whatever. So
you can also
that's
go to
part
the
of it.
southern hemisphere and they have different constellations there. So what about how can you be a Taurus when you go to Australia?
Exactly.
Also, I'm pretty sure that's what your sign is. Giant squid, Jake.
Ooh, thank you. Cool.
They're powerful and mysterious. That's just like me.
I think we should have an astrology expert on so they can try and
lie to us,
give the counter argument to why they strongly believe that it's real, because maybe you guys have never heard it in a compelling way before.
I mean, you could probably say the same thing about somebody that believes in a God and they might have a bunch of interesting arguments.
No, I think I've heard a lot more of that than
it would be easier to convince me of like Norse paganism than it would be like
cool.
Also much more badass.
Yeah. I'm a lot closer to like worshiping Tyr, the god of war, than I am to believing that there's anything to me being a Sagittarius.
Jake, what's your birthday?
December 17th. I'm a Sagittarius.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
I
don't know anything about Sagittarius. You are not one. They're optimistic. Well, lovers of freedom, hilarious, fair-minded, honest, and intellectual. Okay.
None of those things sound like Jake.
I don't think I'm honest.
They are spontaneous and fun, usually with a lot of friends, and perhaps the best conversationalists in the zodiac.
Okay, I guess it's real.
That's all it took.
Well, if it makes me cool, then sure.
Yeah, this made me feel good. I'm a Taurus.
One
You guys
of
are both Taurus.
Yeah, we're both Tauruses. One of the things that came up when I typed Sagittarius is, why are Sagittariuses the worst? And then this does sound like you, Jake. It says their tactless way of handling things leads others to believe they don't care or that they're just plain rude, which is true in some sense.
Wow.
It seems that Sagittarians use brute force in their life more than other zodiac signs do. Their unrefined way of talking is one of the reasons Sagittarius is the worst zodiac sign. I don't think you're unrefined, but I do think people might think that you're rude.
Based on this conversation, absolutely.
Before I met
if they believe in astrology, they probably think I'm a big
you were going to
asshole.
be a jerk, and you ended up not being a jerk.
Thank you.
You have very little patience for things that you think are stupid, and you will make that known, though.
Well, okay, yeah, that can be true, but I will say, like, the way that I'm talking about this now with you guys is not the way that I have talked about it in the past with people who do believe in astrology. I don't lie to them and say like, oh yeah, I think it might be real, but I just don't engage with it really. I've had people say, well, what time of the day were you born? So I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't really believe in that. And I am honest about it, but I try and I hope that if anyone who I've had this conversation with is listening, I hope I was not an asshole. But yeah, I don't believe in it.
I mean, it is difficult to have patience for stuff like this after a certain point. Like, I feel like wanting to be less tolerant of these beliefs that aren't true, because that's how we end up with things like anti-vaxxers and flat earthers.
I don't think astrology has anything to do with. I don't think there's any harm.
Absolutely, it does.
It's like kind of like that continuous tolerance for like non-science. It's like it's just not real. You can just prove that it's not real. Stop believing things that are not real. It's frustrating.
It's also fine to believe in something that's just fun for you. Like, I don't think we all have to believe in things that are bound by facts. And like I
guess there's enough fiction around that you can enjoy fiction without making believe that it's part of your reality. With stuff like religion, I don't see how religion putting like their stuff into like our politics, how that's different from a person that's like an anti-vaxxer trying to push legislation, or a person not believing in science and taking their kid to a healer instead of a doctor. That's the kind of stuff that I feel like is making the world worse.
Well, that's not at all what I'm saying. I mean, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I know that you're not insane, but
I kind of am, just not.
I don't know if I'm
right.
I was anymore. I think Brittany might be a little.
I was being very un-Sagittarius right there by being a little tactful and giving you a little bit of credit. I know you're not an anti-vaxxer or whatever. Like that's nuts, but yeah, I mean, I do think stuff like that is pseudoscience, meaning it's not based in reality, and there's no moral imperative to not believe in things that are not like scientifically provable. That's fine. If you want to believe in astrology, even though you know on some level, like, yeah, it's probably not real. If you really measured it, an astronomer is not going to tell you that it's real. That's fine. But if you have that mentality of this is true because I feel it's true, and the fact that, science and logic contradicts it, I don't care. I'm going to set that aside. That's another part of my brain that I'm not going to listen to right now. Or even worse, like, fuck you for saying it's not real because I feel like it's real. That is the path to anti-vaxxers and, all kind of like religious fundamentalism. Like it does go hand in hand. I am not saying that everyone who believes in astrology or reads their horoscope or whatever is like a bad person. That's, to be clear, it's fine. Morally, it is totally fine if you do that. It's whatever. But yeah, it is a slippery slope, as they say.
I agree with that.
That's what I think. But I watched Carl Sagan's Cosmos when I was a kid, so this is just, it's got into my brain that way. So
while your parents baptized people in your backyard pool.
Did they?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
They did.
100%.
This has never come up before.
It has a lot.
It's
not on
we've
this,
talked about it, but
not in this iteration of the podcast, but
was it on your Shits and Giggles podcast?
Yes, it was on the Shits and Giggles podcast. Did anyone ever poop in the pool
while they were being baptized?
Not to my knowledge, and I think I probably would have had to clean it up if that did happen.
But that was for sure pee, right? Someone must have peed.
I mean, how would you know?
That's just true. But I feel like somebody did for sure.
I would have.
I didn't. You would? You would pee in somebody's pool?
Are you serious? Yeah, I pee in like every pool.
Oh God! Remind me never.
Like
to
she
get in a
cannot
pool
go
with you
into a pool without
without
peeing.
peeing.
Because
She'll
okay,
pee in the ocean, in a pool, whatever, any a lake. It doesn't
Well,
matter.
the ocean is fine.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
someone's pool in their backyard is not fine.
I don't want to, but you get really
Who's making you do this?
nobody's.
Is someone blackmailing you?
It's just a tourist thing. You wouldn't.
Oh yes, of course.
No, but I just get I just like when I was a kid and stuff, I wouldn't think that I had to go pee and then I would get in the pool and it would take me so long to get in. I wasn't like a jump in the pool type of kid. It took me a really long time because I was so cold. And then I would get in and then I would have to pee and I would be like, fuck, I don't want to get out of the pool because it's so cold.
Yeah, I'm
So
not going through all that again.
Yeah, so then I would just pee in a pool. And there's chlorine. Like,
Yeah, it's like saying it's fine to litter because there's janitors.
no, that's different because that's making somebody else clean up after you. There's nothing that anybody else has to do.
Somebody's putting the
someone has
chlorine
to,
in
yeah,
there.
someone has to
I'll tell you
add
that
the
right now.
chlorine in.
Well, I mean,
Good
they're
me.
going to anyway.
Yeah,
I
but now
wouldn't-
we're putting in extra. Now that you've been in the pool, now that I know that.
This is just Brittany's belief, okay? She doesn't need to be bound by science or
Okay,
anything. This is something
I'm
that's
not
more
going to
in her
disrespect
heart,
that.
okay? Yeah, you
I
gotta
know-
respect her beliefs.
A lot of people pee in pools.
Brittany, I heard that if you
Yeah, children.
if you pee in pools, it's supposed to be some kind of bad luck. I don't know if you
Yeah,
know that.
I've
Shut
heard that
the
too.
fuck up, Raoul.
David said that. David said he heard.
I've heard of that before. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
supposed to be
like bad
7
things
years.
happen to people like peeing in a pool. So just
Yeah,
saying.
I've never heard that, but the fact that it's possible.
It's real.
So you should
It's definitely
probably.
possible. Even
Yeah. So consider
That's-
that every time it happens.
It's a lot more likely to be realistic than astrology. I'll tell you that
Can
right
I
now.
still pee in the shower?
Oh, absolutely. Everybody does that.
We'll allow it.
Okay, cool.
What are
I'm
you
gonna
going to
start
turn the
wrapping up
shower
here.
off, pee, and then get back in the shower? No.
Some people don't like when me and my sister shared a bathroom. She was like, "I never pee in the shower. That's fucking gross." Like she thought it was and I'm like, "What do
yeah,
you?"
I don't really either. I usually pee before.
But do you think it's gross and wrong to pee in the
No,
shower?
I don't. A bunch of people do it, but then that's what I think of. Like if I ever take a bath, that's what I'm thinking about. Sometimes it like gets in my head, like people peed all over this thing, and so then I have to like clean the tub before I take a bath sometimes. So if I'm in a place where I know people aren't peeing in the shower, it makes me more comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, that is true, but it's also the place where everybody washes their dick and balls.
Yeah.
Even if they're not peeing, it's like,
If
oh,
you
I got
ever
all the ass water is
So
flowed
I
up
guess
for
you
this.
just gotta- yeah, like I said, at a certain point, you just kind of have to suck it up and accept that that baths are disgusting.
That's are gross.
But I need that. I've been bathing so much lately. I'm so sore all the time from.
It is
skating
very
so
relaxing.
much and
if you ever take a bath at Raoul in my place, you for sure want to scrub that tub out first.
I gotta start wrapping up here. David, is there anything you want to plug before we sign off?
This is a tough one. I don't know if I have anything going on. I guess just my Instagram, David Zafra 1, because I post all my skating videos on there and any upcoming shows, any other podcasts that I might be having in the future, which I am starting a podcast soon. So
Oh, nice.
yeah,
You are a soul skater now, David.
I know. I really want to do like some like brink shit.
You should.
All right. Do follow us on Instagram. Follow the show at Zero If I Could Podcast on Instagram. Subscribe and rate us on iTunes and also on Spotify. You can follow me personally at Raoul Z Comedy. Brittany, where can they find you?
At Bitchney H.
Follow Brittany at Bitchney H. And Jake, where can they find you?
Just leave me alone.
All right. That has been our episode. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to our guest, David Zafra. Thank you so much. Goodbye.